Hello everyone! Now as you've planned on the body paragraphs for your paper, it's time to start writing your introduction. In this video, we're going to look at how to write an effective introduction, and then in class you'll have a chance to practice writing it. Well, you might have noticed that I have highlighted the word effective. This is because in this video, we're not going to compare good and bad introductions. You'll have a chance to do that in class. Instead, I'm going to show you what a truly effective introduction should be like. This hopefully will help you to come up with a strong introduction that will impress your teacher and make your paper stand out. Ready? Let's begin. I'd like to begin this video by giving you a quote that I believe perfectly emphasizes the importance of having a good introduction and acts as a definition. So here it goes. A good introduction in an argumentative essay acts like a good opening statement in a trial. Just like a lawyer, a writer must present the issue at hand, give background, and put forth the main argument, all in a logical, intellectual, and persuasive way. This quote gives us some important clues about what elements an effective intro needs to have. Let's take a closer look. The quote says that a writer must present the issue at hand and give background. In other words, it states the topic of your essay and gives relevant background. It also says that it puts forth the main argument, which implies how the writer feels about the topic, what their stance or position toward the topic is. And this is all presented in a clear, well thought out manner. Also, please note the phrase "in a persuasive way." This is because argumentative writing has some elements of persuasive writing, as it too relies on strong logic and reason to support the writer's viewpoint. It in a way attempts to persuade the reader to adopt a certain point of view. And while most of it happens in the body of your essay, the introduction is your first and good chance to make that positive, a strong impression that make the reader want to know more about your point of view. To illustrate this, let's compare two different introductions on the same topic. Here they are. While reading these introductions, I'd like you to think about these two simple questions. First, can both of these paragraphs be used as introductions? In other words, are these good to be called introductions? And second, is either of them better or more effective than the other one? And why? Now pause the video to read and think. Here's my feedback to question 1. Yes, both can be used as introductions. Why? Because they both state the topic and provide some relevant background information, each in its own way. They both tell us how the writer feels about the topic. We know that the writer is going to support the idea of why having a pet dog may be good for you. So both paragraphs seem to have the necessary elements of what an introduction needs to have. So they would both pass. Now, let's move on to my second question. Is either of them better than the other one? Well, I hope for you the answer is as obvious as it is for me. Introduction A is stronger than the other one. Why? Isn't the first intro more persuasive than the other one? Doesn't it provide a clear answer to why having a pet dog may be good for me? It does this all in a good and logical manner. It clearly tells us what the reader's stance is, as well as the reasons for it, right from the outset. While the second intro also does provide a clear stance, it doesn't give us a clue as to what to expect in the further paragraphs. All we know is Owning a dog is good for some reasons, but I feel like I'm left with not knowing how exactly the argument is going to be developed. While both of these interests would pass, the first one would probably pass with an above average grade. Isn't that what you are all aiming for? Okay, next I'd like to quickly touch upon background information for your intro. Some of you might be wondering about this. Well, your background needs to introduce the topic of your essay in a concise and logical way. Depending on the topic, this may include a definition or historical context, maybe a fact or some facts, statistics, study results, or even a story. A few things to consider though: be careful not to give too much information, because this may be overwhelming to the reader, and not too little either, as this can leave the reader confused. The key is to consider your reader carefully and ask yourself a few questions like, who is my audience? What does my reader already know about the topic? Questions like this will help you decide on the appropriate background that will be both interesting and relevant to your topic. It will set the context for your essay and will lead the reader nicely toward the main argument of your essay. So, to summarize the video, a strong introduction needs to have the following elements. It needs to clearly state the topic of your essay, provide some relevant background information to the topic, and have a clear thesis statement. Do you remember what a thesis statement is? So it needs to have a clear stance and a summary of the main reasons or justification for your opinion. Thank you for watching.